I will now show you a new notation that simplifies the notation when dealing with pointers to structures. This is precisely the program we just wrote. We have a structure called student that stores a first name, a last name, a birth year, and an average grade. And we have two functions, one to print a student record to which we pass a student record by value, and another one to read a student record from the user input to which we pass a student record by reference. And this function readStudent was a little bit cumbersome to write because of the dereferencing and accessing components. So for example, we called the pointer the address of the student record that's coming into the function studentPTR. We had to dereference that, so go to the memory location that holds the student record and then access the first name of the student. We didn't need an ampersand for the scanf here because we're dealing with a string. However, down here, where we're reading the birth year, we had to first dereference the student pointer, then access the birth year component, and then get the address of that variable in order to scan that. By the way, these parentheses around star PTR are very important because if you didn't have them there, there's an order of precedence of operations that would have made C execute the dot first. So without these parentheses, if I took them away, C would have tried to go to student pointer and its component first name. Student pointer is a pointer, however, it doesn't have any components. It's not a structure, it's a pointer to a structure. And so that would make absolutely no sense. And so we would have actually gotten an error message there. But it is rather inconvenient that we have to type these parentheses to make sure we dereference first and then the period to access the component. And so there's a shorthand notation for all of that. The shorthand notation is to get rid of all of these things and replace them with an arrow. So student PTR, arrow, which I got by typing a dash, which is the hyphen, just a little dash, and a greater than sign, and then the component which I wish to address. So using an arrow indicates to see, okay, what's to the left of the arrow is a pointer to a structure, and so I need to dereference that pointer first. And what's to the right of the arrow is the component of the structure I want to address. And so no parentheses are necessary, no dereferencing. The dereferencing happens automatically by using the arrow. So similarly, we can do that here. Instead of dereferencing student pointer and then accessing last name, we do that. And similarly right here, we again do this. So put a arrow between student pointer and birth here. And by the way, the ampersand in front gets executed last. So this ampersand here gets executed after student pointer has been dereferenced and birth year component has been accessed. The arrow has a higher order of precedence than the ampersand. But if you're not sure what gets executed first, you could put parentheses around just to make sure that you're dereferencing and accessing birth year first. But you actually don't need these parentheses right here. But you can always put them there. It's nothing wrong with it. And then similarly here, we have student PTR, and we use the arrow to access average grade. Let's compile this and make sure it still runs. And we'll just run the program. We're entering a first name, Taylor, birth year, 1989, average grade, let's have a 4.0 again, and then it prints out the record. So the program functioned just as before, nothing has changed, but the notation got quite a bit simplified.